Heaven has been watching you. The nights when you could no longer hold the weight of your heart. The mornings when you woke up still carrying the ache of what you lost. The moments when you replayed memories, searching for answers that never came. You have cried in silence, believing that God was distant. Yet Saint Gabriel, Archangel, comes now to tell you, heaven has heard every soundless prayer, every tear has been recorded. But heaven cannot fill your hands if you refuse to let go of what left. Your sorrow has reached the throne of God, and He has sent His messenger, the voice of divine clarity, to interrupt your tears. You have been mourning something that heaven removed, not because you were unworthy, but because God saw what you could not. You saw love, heaven saw delay. You saw stability, heaven saw danger. What walked away did not break you. It freed you from a path that could never carry your promise. Saint Gabriel, Archangel, speaks now through the stillness. You keep asking why they left, but heaven asks why you keep holding the door open to someone I already escorted out. The divine order is never cruel. It never steals. It simply restores balance. When someone departs from your life by divine permission, it is because the season of their assignment has ended. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. The tears that soak your pillow are not wasted. They are sacred seeds in the soil of transformation. Each one waters the ground where something better is about to grow. Heaven cannot rewrite your destiny while your heart is still clinging to what was meant to teach, not to stay. The one who left was part of your awakening, a mirror through which God revealed what you deserve and what you must no longer accept. Saint Gabriel, Archangel, declares, your pain was not the end. It was the turning point. Heaven cannot bring you new love while your hands are still holding the shadow of the old. You have prayed for healing, yet kept the wound open. You have asked for peace, but refused to stop chasing what disturbs it. Heaven is now stepping in, not to comfort your sadness, but to command your release. The angels that once watched you weep now prepare the dawn of your new beginning. This message is your interruption. The heavens have decided that enough tears have fallen. What left was never meant to carry your forever. It fulfilled its purpose by teaching you the difference between attention and devotion, emotion and purpose, longing and love. Heaven does not allow subtraction without preparing multiplication. The void you feel now is the sacred space where God is crafting your divine replacement. A love that will not confuse you, abandon you, or dim your light. Saint Gabriel, Archangel, ends this first revelation with a promise. You will not cry forever. Your tears have built an altar, and heaven has heard your offering. What left will not return, because what is coming is greater. Dry your eyes, for the one who sees you in secret has already begun to rewrite your story in public. You have not been forsaken. You have been chosen for a better love. The sacred reason behind every goodbye. There is no goodbye without purpose. Every departure, every silence, every ending that tore at your heart carried divine intention beneath the surface. Saint Gabriel, Archangel, comes to uncover what you could not see while your eyes were blurred by tears. The one who left did not escape your destiny. They fulfilled their assignment within it. What felt like abandonment was actually divine release, the mercy of heaven disguised as loss. You saw only the pain of separation, but heaven saw the danger of delay. Sometimes God has to break your heart to rescue your soul. He removes what would have derailed your calling, what would have buried your potential, what would have cost your peace in the long run. Saint Gabriel, Archangel, reveals that when you begged God to make it work, heaven heard the deeper prayer, the cry for true love, divine alignment, and lasting peace. The answer came, but not as you expected. It came through the closing of a chapter that could no longer serve your purpose. You were praying for destiny, but still holding on to distraction. Heaven could not elevate you while you remained tied to what was draining your spirit. God does not subtract to punish, He subtracts to protect. Every person removed from your life was seen by heaven from the beginning. Their role was temporary, their presence conditional, their exit necessary. What feels cruel now will one day feel sacred, because you will realize that their departure opened the path for what was always meant to arrive. Saint Gabriel Archangel says, "Every soul that leaves by divine permission leaves to make room for your expansion." Some people are not meant to walk with you into your next season because they are still bound to the version of you that existed before transformation. You have changed. You have evolved. Heaven cannot allow those who misunderstand your worth to anchor you to who you were before healing began. You keep wondering if you could have done something differently, if more effort, more love, or more sacrifice would have made them stay. But heaven answers, no. Because the divine plan does not bend to human desire. What left was required to leave so you could discover your strength in solitude. If they had stayed, you would still be shrinking yourself to fit their comfort. You would still be giving peace away to preserve connection. You would still be mistaking proximity for purpose. Look at the pattern through heaven's eyes. God often removes people not because they are evil, but because your story with them is complete. Every encounter is a classroom. Once the lesson is learned, the teacher must step away. The sacred reason behind every goodbye is growth. Without endings, there is no evolution. Without loss, there is no awakening. And without the breaking, there is no blessing. Saint Gabriel Archangel whispers, "Heaven closes doors to redirect your heart, not to punish it." The one who left was the key that unlocked the next level of your healing. You were not meant to chase them. You were meant to outgrow them. When you look back, you will thank God that the door closed when it did, because if it had stayed open, it would have destroyed what heaven was trying to build. You are not cursed by goodbye. You are crowned by it. You were not rejected. You were redirected. The divine reason behind every ending is this: God always removes the counterfeit before he reveals the authentic. Saint Gabriel Archangel concludes this revelation with truth etched in light. Every goodbye that made you cry was actually heaven saying, "I love you too much to let you stay where you don't belong." What left was never punishment. It was prophecy. And that prophecy has already begun to unfold. When you love beyond God's timing, there are moments when the heart outruns heaven, when emotion moves faster than divine timing. You prayed for love and God answered, but your desire began to lead the way instead of his will. Saint Gabriel Archangel now brings a revelation that pierces through illusion. Sometimes love becomes pain, not because it was wrong, but because it was premature. When you love beyond God's timing, you end up trying to sustain what heaven has not yet blessed. The one you loved may have been meant for a chapter of your story, but you tried to turn them into the entire book. You mistook divine encounter for eternal covenant. You saw potential and called it destiny, not realizing that heaven's preparation had not yet been completed in either heart. When love is born outside of alignment, it cannot carry the weight of its own promise. What begins as passion ends as exhaustion, because the spirit is fighting against the clock of heaven. Saint Gabriel Archangel speaks, "You cannot rush what is divine, and you cannot preserve what was not yet ready." The tears you cry today are not proof of failure, but of misalignment. God's hand was on your connection, but his timing required more healing, more growth, more separation. Instead, your heart clung to what it wanted, praying for heaven to bless what it was still trying to protect. But heaven does not negotiate timing, it fulfills it. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1, it is written, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." Love that comes too soon will test your patience. Love that comes too late will test your faith. Heaven's goal is to align both. You cannot accelerate spiritual seasons. God's timing is a language of protection. It withholds to prepare, delays to perfect, and pauses to purify. What felt like rejection was heaven saying, "Not yet, because you deserve better than almost." When you love beyond divine timing, you start to mistake emotional urgency for spiritual confirmation. You call attachment faith and dependency devotion. But true love under heaven's order does not drain, it develops. It doesn't leave you begging for clarity. It brings understanding. The relationship that costs you your peace cannot be your destiny, no matter how deeply you feel it. Saint Gabriel Archangel reminds you that waiting is not punishment, it is protection. God cannot give you something sacred before you learn how to sustain it. The heart that once clung to love too early must now learn to rest. Heaven had to stop what was consuming your strength so you could rediscover balance. The delay was not a denial. It was divine mercy extending your future by saving you from your own impatience. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is not in fighting for love, but in surrendering it back to God. What you release returns to you refined, or it is replaced by what is greater. Either way, you win when you trust the timing of heaven. Saint Gabriel Archangel declares, "Do not confuse divine connection with divine conclusion. Some loves are planted in one season to bloom in another. Others appear only to reveal your capacity to love without losing yourself. The time you are living now is not a void, it is alignment. Heaven is recalibrating your heart so that the next love you receive will not break you. It will meet you at the right hour, not when you are desperate, but when you are ready. And when it comes, you will understand why the delay was sacred, because what arrives in divine time will never leave in chaos." Saint Gabriel Archangel's message resounds with power. You loved too soon, but you did not love in vain. Heaven saw your sincerity and will honor it with something that matches your growth. When timing and purpose meet, your heart will finally rest. Heaven's intervention, why they had to leave. There are moments when heaven must intervene in ways that your heart will not understand until much later. When the person you loved began to drift away, you thought it was their choice. You questioned yourself, your worth, your effort. You replayed every memory, searching for what went wrong. But Saint Gabriel Archangel reveals the truth. They did not leave you by accident. They were removed by divine instruction. What looked like rejection was heaven's protection in disguise. God saw what you could not see. He saw the hidden intentions, the unspoken fears, the growing imbalance that would have destroyed your peace if it continued. Heaven saw the future conversations that would have broken your spirit, the small compromises that would have slowly stolen your purpose, the spiritual exhaustion that would have left you empty. And so, heaven stepped in, not because you were weak, but because your love was too pure to be wasted on a path that was not destined to last. Saint Gabriel Archangel speaks with power and mercy. Do not call it betrayal when it was salvation. What you thought was the enemy's work was actually God's mercy. The separation you resisted was heaven's hand pulling you from a snare. You prayed for peace, but peace could not coexist with what you were holding on to. You begged for clarity, but clarity required distance. Heaven had to extract you from what was draining your light, even if your heart screamed to stay. In Psalm chapter 34, verse 19, it is written, "The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all." That deliverance often comes disguised as loss. You think you are being broken, when in truth you are being rescued. Heaven removed them not to punish you, but to restore your alignment with purpose. The person you were becoming could no longer thrive in an environment built on confusion and imbalance. The love you were clinging to had reached its spiritual expiration date. You asked God to bless the relationship, but sometimes blessing comes through separation. You wanted restoration, but heaven wanted revelation. There are things you could not see while you were emotionally attached, red flags blurred by affection, patterns disguised as passion, manipulation masked as care. So heaven intervened. It closed doors you would never have had the strength to close yourself. Saint Gabriel Archangel whispers, "You saw loss, heaven saw liberation. You saw heartbreak, heaven saw healing in motion." The person who left fulfilled their divine role in your story. They awakened you to self-worth, reminded you of the cost of ignoring your spirit, and forced you to rediscover your identity beyond attachment. Once their purpose was complete, heaven escorted them out of your path to make room for what is next. The pain you felt was real, but it was the pain of surgery, not destruction. A sacred procedure to remove what could no longer coexist with your peace. Heaven's intervention is always precise. It allows just enough breaking to set you free, but never enough to destroy you. You survived because you were meant to. Saint Gabriel Archangel declares, "You were not abandoned, you were redirected. You were not forgotten, you were protected." The one who left was never meant to stay beyond their season. They exited because heaven needed space to bring someone who will not leave when the storm comes. Now that heaven has intervened, your story is shifting. The place of tears is about to become the place of testimony. You will soon understand that what walked away was never the blessing. It was the distraction that stood in front of it. Heaven moved it so your heart could finally be found by the love that will stay. The divine exchange. When God takes one thing to give something greater, heaven never takes without the intention to replace. Every time something leaves your life under divine order, it opens a space that God Himself intends to fill with something greater. Saint Gabriel Archangel now reveals the law of the divine exchange, the sacred balance through which heaven transforms loss into multiplication. What you thought was subtraction was the beginning of divine replacement. The one who left was not the ending of your story. They were the door through which something extraordinary would enter. You cried as if God had taken your only chance at happiness. You begged for understanding, wondering how something that once felt so right could end so painfully. But the truth is, heaven does not allow what is meant to destroy your peace to remain. When God removes someone or something, it is never a punishment. It is a transaction of love, a divine exchange that trades sorrow for serenity, emptiness for abundance, and dependency for purpose. Saint Gabriel Archangel speaks, "You must release what God has taken so that your hands can receive what He is sending. You cannot carry both the burden of the past and the blessing of the future. One must go for the other to arrive. Heaven cannot pour new wine into old vessels." The relationship that ended was the vessel that had served its purpose. Its breaking made room for expansion. Every loss under divine supervision hides a transfer, heaven taking what has expired to deliver what will last. This law was present even from the beginning of creation. In John chapter 12, verse 24, Jesus said, "Unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit." The same principle applies to your heart. Something had to die for something greater to live. What was taken from you was the seed. What is coming is the harvest. Heaven always multiplies what it removes, but the increase only appears after you release the pain with trust. Right now, the angels are preparing the replacement you prayed for. A love aligned with purpose, peace, and divine reciprocity. But before that love can reach you, heaven must be sure that you have truly let go of the counterfeit. If your hands are still gripping the shadow, you cannot receive the substance. The tears you shed were part of the transaction, the release of grief in exchange for grace. Saint Gabriel Archangel reminds you that the divine exchange operates in silence. God will not announce it with noise. He will replace what you lost quietly in ways that catch you off guard. One day you will wake up and the pain will no longer control you. One day you will meet someone who mirrors the peace you prayed for, and you will realize that this is the result of the exchange heaven made long before you were ready to see it. You did not lose, you were upgraded. You did not fail. You were redirected toward fulfillment. What left was never your foundation, it was scaffolding. Its purpose was to help you grow until you no longer needed it. Heaven took what could not last and is giving you what cannot fail. The same hand that took away the temporary is now preparing to place the eternal in your path. St. Gabriel Archangel declares with authority, heaven's justice is restoration, not revenge. What you lost will return to you transformed. What broke you will one day bless you. The divine exchange is already in motion, and soon the one who cried will rejoice. Hold your peace, because God is already sending what fits your healed heart. You are not empty. You are in transition. The divine exchange has begun. The healing threshold, learning to stop begging for closure. There comes a sacred point in every heart's journey where healing can no longer wait for an apology. You reach a threshold, a holy intersection between pain and freedom, where heaven whispers, stop asking for answers from those who cannot give them. St. Gabriel Archangel now reveals that the closure you keep chasing will not come from human mouths, but from divine revelation. You have been standing at the door of someone's silence, knocking with your tears, hoping they will one day explain why they walked away. But heaven says, they left because they were meant to. Closure is not a conversation. It is a decision. It is the moment you choose to accept that the explanation you thought you needed was already given through their absence. St. Gabriel Archangel speaks with the voice of divine wisdom. Stop asking for peace from the very place that caused your unrest. The person who left does not hold the key to your healing. Heaven does. Every unanswered message, every ignored prayer, every goodbye that offered no reason was heaven's way of saying, you are done there. Now come with me. The need for closure is a symptom of the heart's fear of letting go. You believe that if they explained, if they apologized, if they returned for a moment, you would finally be able to rest. But God knows that closure does not come through information. It comes through revelation. When heaven gives you understanding, peace replaces pain even when words never arrive. You do not need them to repent for you to recover. You do not need their explanation for God's will to be complete. St. Gabriel Archangel declares, when you stop begging for closure, you open the door to divine healing. The silence that hurt you becomes the space where heaven speaks. You stop asking, why did they leave? And start asking, what did this teach me? You stop replaying what broke you and start recognizing what it built inside you. That shift in perspective marks the moment healing begins. Heaven cannot rewrite your story while you are still reading the old chapter aloud. The threshold of healing requires courage, the courage to walk away from what you cannot fix. It is not weakness to stop fighting for someone who no longer wants to stay. It is wisdom. God never intended for you to build your worth on the response of another person. Your identity is not defined by who left. It is defined by who remains, and heaven never left you. In Psalm chapter 147, verse 3, it is written, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Notice the verse does not say that people heal you, it says He does. God does not need their apology to complete your recovery. He needs your permission to begin. Every tear you shed was part of the cleansing, every unanswered question part of the redirection. You thought you were breaking, but you were actually crossing the line between dependence and divine peace. St. Gabriel Archangel reminds you that healing is heaven's form of closure. When you feel peace where there used to be pain, that is God's signature declaring the chapter closed. You don't need to understand every reason. You just need to trust that divine wisdom was at work. The silence was never neglect. It was protection. The unanswered questions were not punishment. They were permission to move forward. Heaven is calling you to step over the threshold. The side you are standing on is filled with memories, but the side ahead is filled with promise. Your heart cannot carry both. St. Gabriel Archangel whispers, "Stop begging for closure and start receiving healing." The moment you release their silence, heaven will fill it with peace. And when you do, the sound of your own heart restoring will become the answer you were searching for. The inner resurrection, when the heart learns to beat without them. There comes a sacred awakening after the storm, a quiet, almost imperceptible moment when the pain begins to lose its voice. You wake one morning, and though the memory is still there, it no longer hurts with the same weight. That is not coincidence, that is resurrection. St. Gabriel Archangel reveals that the heart does not heal by forgetting, it heals by transforming. The tears that once drowned your hope have watered the soil of your rebirth. Heaven has been reviving you from the inside out, and now your spirit is learning to breathe again, to beat again without them. Resurrection is not a single miracle. It is a process that unfolds in stages. First comes the silence, then the surrender, and then, slowly, life returns. What felt like a grave of sorrow was never your burial ground. It was the place where heaven planted your renewal. The loneliness you feared has become the very space where God is restoring your identity. St. Gabriel Archangel speaks with divine authority. The heart that once broke is now becoming stronger than before. What you lost no longer defines you, it refines you. For so long, your pulse was synchronized with another soul. Their absence felt like your death. But heaven has proven that even after love walks away, purpose remains. You are alive because your destiny is not finished. Every tear that fell was counted, and every moment of despair became a divine catalyst for resurrection. What looked like the end was the divine reset, a sacred recalibration designed to awaken the power within you that was buried under dependency. In John chapter 11, verse 43 to 44, when Jesus stood before the tomb of Lazarus, he called out, "Come forth." That same command now echoes through your soul. St. Gabriel Archangel declares that heaven is calling you forth from emotional death, out of the grave of disappointment, out of the tomb of rejection, out of the silence of abandonment. The stone is being rolled away, and your heart is stepping into the light of restoration. You're beginning to remember who you were before the pain. The laughter that once felt impossible is slowly returning. The peace that seemed distant now flows quietly within you. You have been through spiritual resurrection, the kind that no one sees but everyone feels. Heaven has rebuilt your heartbeat around purpose instead of attachment, around faith instead of fear. This is what divine resurrection looks like. When you no longer beg to be chosen because you know you already are, by God Himself. St. Gabriel Archangel whispers with tenderness, you no longer need their presence to feel alive. The breath in your lungs, the peace in your chest, the light in your eyes, all of it is heaven's proof that you have survived. What once defined your nights with tears will now define your testimony with power. You will not speak of your pain as tragedy, but as transformation. The heart that once broke now beats in rhythm with heaven's timing. The love that once shattered you prepared you to recognize the one that will heal you. This inner resurrection is not the end of your healing. It is the foundation of your next chapter. You have learned that you can love deeply and still recover. You have learned that God can let something die and still bring you back to life stronger than before. You have learned that peace after heartbreak is not the absence of love, but the arrival of divine order. St. Gabriel Archangel declares, the grave is empty. You are no longer defined by who left. Heaven has resurrected your heart, and soon it will be ready to recognize what I am sending next. Heaven's promise. God never ends a story without a continuation. What feels like the end is never the end in God's plan. Heaven does not close a chapter without already preparing the next one. The story of your heart has not been abandoned mid-sentence. It is being rewritten with greater purpose. Saint Gabriel Archangel now reveals a truth that transforms despair into divine confidence. God never ends a story without a continuation. What left your life did not close your destiny. It simply cleared the page so heaven could write again with clarity, not confusion. You have mistaken silence for conclusion, but silence is where new beginnings are conceived. Every season of loss is followed by a season of creation. While you were weeping, heaven was still writing. Saint Gabriel Archangel speaks with a voice that carries both compassion and authority. Do not mourn what I have already replaced in the spiritual realm. You think your story is over, but heaven has already written the continuation. The same God who allowed one love to end has already designed the arrival of something divinely aligned, a love that will not repeat old pain, but redeem it. You are standing in the space between chapters, the sacred pause where heaven edits what no longer fits your future. The ending you feared was simply the comma before the next sentence of your story. God's promises are not interrupted by human decisions. What someone chose to walk away from cannot cancel what heaven decreed over your life. In Romans chapter 8, verse 28, it is written, "All things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose." That means even rejection works for your restoration, even heartbreak works for your elevation. What broke you has become the raw material heaven uses to build your blessing. Saint Gabriel Archangel reveals, the continuation will not resemble the beginning. It will carry peace instead of anxiety, stability instead of confusion, faith instead of fear. Heaven does not repeat old patterns. It rewrites them into something eternal. You will no longer find yourself begging to be understood or chasing love that cannot see your worth. The next chapter will mirror your healing, not your wounds. Look around you. Can you feel the shift? The energy of heaven moves quietly, but it is constant. The same angels that comforted you through heartbreak are now orchestrating divine meetings and aligning circumstances for your next season. Heaven never stops moving, even when your life feels paused. While you were crying over what ended, God was forming the heart of someone who will not run when it gets hard. Saint Gabriel Archangel declares that heaven's promises are self-fulfilling. You do not have to force their manifestation. You simply have to stay aligned. What is meant for you will not need to be chased, explained, or begged for. It will come naturally, guided by divine timing, sealed with divine peace. God does not restore halfway. He restores completely. And when he gives again, he multiplies. Your continuation will not only heal your heart, it will validate your faith. It will make sense of everything you lost. You will see that the pain was not punishment, it was preparation. The loneliness was not abandonment, it was alignment. The tears you thought no one saw were the ink heaven used to write your redemption. Saint Gabriel Archangel ends this revelation with a promise spoken from the throne of light. The chapter you are stepping into will not be a repeat, it will be revelation. Heaven never leaves a heart empty, it always fills it with something divine. What was once broken will now become beautiful, and what ended in tears will continue in peace. The blueprint of the better love. There is a divine design unfolding over your life, one so precise that no human effort could ever replicate it. What you thought was random heartbreak was actually preparation for a new pattern, the pattern of heaven's love. Saint Gabriel Archangel now unveils the blueprint of the better love, the sacred design that God has been crafting in secret while you healed. Every tear, every prayer, every lonely night was a line drawn on the map that leads to what is coming. Heaven has not forgotten you. It has been building something worthy of your restoration. This love will not look like what you lost. It will not enter your life with chaos or urgency. It will come with calm, with a peace that silences the storm. You will not need to chase or convince, because heaven's order brings mutual recognition. Two hearts, both refined by waiting, both ready to pour rather than take. St. Gabriel Archangel says, "The love God is sending you will not mirror your pain. It will mirror your purpose." The blueprint of this better love is written in three divine principles: peace, purpose, and partnership. Peace, because what is meant for you will not disturb your spirit. Purpose, because divine love always aligns with destiny. It does not distract you from your calling, it amplifies it. Partnership, because this connection will be built on reciprocity, not dependency. The love coming will not complete you, it will complement you. Two healed souls joining not out of fear of being alone, but out of faith that together they serve something greater. St. Gabriel Archangel reminds you that heaven's love cannot be rushed. It is measured, intentional, and pure. It arrives only when your heart has learned to rest, not to reach. That is why the delay was necessary. Heaven could not deliver divine love to a heart still clinging to survival. God needed to rebuild your definition of love before sending its fulfillment. You had to learn that love is not pursuit, but peace, not confusion, but confirmation, not emptiness, but overflow. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4-7, love is described as patient, kind, and enduring. Heaven does not contradict its own word. Therefore, any love that demanded you to compromise your peace or abandon your worth could not have been divine. The love coming now will embody that scripture. It will be patient enough to earn your trust, kind enough to protect your spirit, and steadfast enough to walk beside you through both light and shadow. You will recognize it by its gentleness, not its intensity. It will not pull you backward into familiar patterns, but forward into divine partnership. When this person enters your life, they will not compete with your faith, they will confirm it. You will feel heaven's presence when they speak. Your conversations will feel like prayer, and your connection will feel like peace. You will finally understand that love was never supposed to hurt this much. It was supposed to heal. Saint Gabriel Archangel whispers, "The blueprint of the better love is already written. You do not need to search for it. It is searching for you. Heaven is aligning your steps, guiding your timing, and softening your heart to receive what will not leave." This is not wishful thinking. It is divine orchestration. The one who is meant for you is also being prepared. Heaven is shaping their heart, purifying their intentions, and ensuring that when your paths cross, it will be not by chance, but by command. When this better love arrives, you will recognize it not by what it says, but by what it does not demand. It will not demand proof of your worth. It will not demand that you shrink your light. It will not demand that you forget who you are to be loved. It will feel like an answered prayer, not another test. Saint Gabriel Archangel declares with authority, "The better love is near. It is heaven's reward for your endurance, your surrender, and your faith. You waited, you trusted, and now the promise approaches. The love coming to you is not ordinary. It is ordained." The test before the new love appears. Just before heaven delivers the blessing, the heart is always tested. This is not punishment, it is preparation. The test comes to prove that you have truly healed, that you will no longer trade your peace for companionship, that you can now discern the difference between divine love and emotional distraction. Saint Gabriel Archangel now warns that the moments before your new love appears will feel strangely familiar. Doors from the past may reopen, old feelings may resurface, and illusions may try to disguise themselves as destiny. But do not be deceived. These are not signs of divine restoration. They are echoes meant to test your growth. Heaven tests through repetition, not to confuse you, but to confirm your maturity. What used to break you will appear again to see if you still bend the same way. The one who once walked away may suddenly reappear, promising what they could not deliver before. The same kind of person may come with different words, testing if you will fall for the same patterns. Saint Gabriel Archangel declares, "The counterfeit always comes before the covenant." This is the spiritual law of discernment. The enemy mimics what is divine to distract you from what is real. The test is not about them, it is about you. It measures how deeply your healing has rooted, how firmly your peace stands. When you can see temptation and still choose peace, you have passed. When you can say no to what no longer aligns with your spirit, you prove to heaven that you are ready for the blessing that will not require compromise. In the book of James, chapter 1, verse 12, it is written, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised." The crown of love follows the same principle. Only those who endure the test of timing and temptation are entrusted with the promise of divine partnership. Saint Gabriel Archangel reveals that this test may come quietly. It may not look like conflict, it may look like comfort. The wrong person may reappear, offering you what you used to crave: attention, validation, a familiar feeling. But what once felt like home will now feel small. Pay attention to that dissonance. It is the voice of heaven reminding you that you no longer belong there. When your soul outgrows a pattern, even nostalgia cannot make it fit again. You will know you are in the test when you feel both longing and peace at war within you. The longing pulls you backward, the peace calls you forward. The test is to see which one you obey. Heaven does not tempt, it confirms. Every time you choose alignment over attachment, you strengthen the bridge to your promise. You are not being punished for your past, you are being prepared for your future. Saint Gabriel Archangel speaks firmly. Heaven will not give you what you cannot protect. The test exists to prove that you will not sabotage what you prayed for. The counterfeit will flatter your ego, but the covenant will feed your soul. The test comes first, so that when the real one appears, you can recognize it not by intensity, but by peace. When you can look at something that once consumed you and feel no desire to return, that is freedom. And freedom is the prerequisite for divine love. Do not fear the test. It is heaven's final confirmation that you are ready. The storm you endured was not to punish you, but to purify your discernment. Now your spirit can see what your emotions once blinded. You will not fall again, because now you walk with wisdom. The same patterns that used to break you will bow before your new boundaries. Saint Gabriel Archangel concludes, "When the test appears, remember, it is the threshold of the promise. The moment you resist what once ruled you, heaven releases what was reserved for you. Stand firm, and soon you will see the divine love approach, not as temptation, but as truth." Recognizing the sign of the divine replacement. When heaven replaces what was lost, it does not shout, it whispers. It does not arrive wrapped in fireworks or chaos. It comes softly, in peace. Saint Gabriel Archangel now reveals how to recognize the sign of the divine replacement, the love that God sends to restore, not repeat. You have prayed for confirmation, and heaven is already sending it. The signs are subtle but unmistakable to the heart that has learned to listen. The new will not imitate the old. It will carry heaven's signature, calm, clarity, and divine timing. The first sign is peace. When something is from God, it does not provoke anxiety, it stills it. You will feel your spirit relax, your breath slow, your heart no longer racing with fear of losing it. Peace is heaven's voice saying, "This is safe." In Philippians chapter 4, verse 7, it is written, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." When the divine replacement arrives, peace guards your heart like a gatekeeper. It will not feel like pursuit, it will feel like protection. The second sign is alignment. The person heaven sends will not pull you away from your purpose. They will walk beside it. They will not challenge your faith, they will cherish it. This connection will not distract you from your calling. it will deepen it. You will find yourself growing in ways you never did before, not because they complete you, but because they complement you. Heaven never sends someone to fill your emptiness, it sends someone to expand your light. The third sign is confirmation. Heaven always affirms divine union through repetition. You may begin to see repeated numbers, hear familiar phrases in unexpected places, or dream the same message more than once. These are not coincidences, they are heaven's echoes. Saint Gabriel Archangel whispers through signs, pay attention to what keeps returning in peace. What repeats without forcing itself often carries divine instruction. The fourth sign is stillness after prayer. The moment you bring this new connection before God, your spirit will quiet, not tremble. Heaven never brings confusion to the soul that is walking in obedience. If your heart feels agitation, it is not divine timing, but if your heart feels anchored, a quiet certainty without urgency, that is heaven's fingerprint. Saint Gabriel Archangel reveals that the divine replacement will also recognize you. They will not need you to explain your worth. They will already see it. There will be no guessing, no half-commitments, no silence that keeps you in fear. The right one will not make you question your place in their life. They will bring peace in their presence, not distance in their promises. Divine love does not play hide and seek, it reveals itself in truth. Heaven will also confirm the new through timing. The divine replacement does not appear until both hearts have been refined. You will meet at the intersection of readiness when your peace is stronger than your past. You will know it is time when you no longer compare them to anyone who came before. This is the sign that healing has completed its work. Saint Gabriel Archangel declares, the divine replacement will not awaken your wounds. It will remind you of your worth. You will not need to perform to be loved, because heaven already confirmed your belonging. You will not chase love again, because love will now find you where God planted you. The divine replacement will mirror God's timing. It may come when you least expect it, in the middle of ordinary days, when you are simply living, no longer searching. Heaven delights in surprises that heal. The one who enters your life next will not be a reward for your pain. They will be the result of your faith. They will arrive as a continuation of what God promised long ago, carrying the peace that once felt unreachable. Saint Gabriel Archangel ends this revelation with assurance. When it is divine, you will not have to ask if it is. Peace will announce it. Confirmation will affirm it. And your heart, once fragile and torn, will finally rest in what heaven always intended for you. Closing revelation and prophetic prayer. The end of tears, the beginning of alignment. Saint Gabriel Archangel now stands before you with heaven's final message. Your tears have fulfilled their purpose. Every cry, every sleepless night, every silent prayer whispered through heartbreak has reached the throne of God. None of it was forgotten. The weeping you endured was never a sign of weakness. It was intercession. Your tears watered the ground where a new chapter is about to bloom. Heaven has seen your endurance, and now comes the turning point, the end of mourning and the beginning of alignment. This is not only emotional healing, it is spiritual reordering. You have been moved from grief to grace, from confusion to clarity, from longing to purpose. The same heart that once ached for answers now beats with divine peace. Saint Gabriel Archangel speaks with the authority of heaven. You are entering the season where everything that once broke you will begin to make sense. You are no longer chasing love, you are attracting it through wholeness. You are no longer waiting in sorrow, you are walking in promise. The divine replacement has already been released in the spiritual realm. The doors that were closed have finished their work, and the path before you is clear. Heaven is no longer calling you to survive. It is calling you to receive. You are now aligned with the frequency of divine timing, the rhythm of heaven's perfect order. What was once withheld is now being restored. What was once lost is being replaced by something that will last. Saint Gabriel, Archangel, declares, "Heaven never wastes a broken heart. It reshapes it into a vessel strong enough to hold divine love." You have passed through the valley of tears and arrived at the Mount of Restoration. The angels who once collected your pain now prepare your blessing. The love that God is sending will not repeat your sorrow. It will redeem it. The one coming into your life will not arrive to fix you. They will recognize the healed version of you that heaven created through endurance. Now, as this revelation reaches your spirit, open your heart and pray. Lord, I thank you for every ending that protected me, even when I could not understand. I release every memory that still binds me to what you have already healed. I forgive those who left, and I bless them to walk in their path. I lift my heart to you, trusting that what you take away, you always replace with something better. I no longer beg for closure. I receive peace. I no longer cry for what is gone. I prepare for what is coming. Align me with your timing, Lord. Let my next love be born from your will, not my wounds. Let it be pure, patient, peaceful, and permanent. I am ready to receive what carries your name upon it. As this prayer leaves your lips, Saint Gabriel, Archangel, stretches his wings over your life and whispers, "Heaven has heard you. Your mourning has been turned into music, your tears into testimony. You will no longer cry over who left, because God is sending the one who was chosen to stay. The sign will come soon, and when it does, your heart will recognize it without question. Now, rest. The storm has served its purpose. The waiting has been sanctified. You are aligned with divine order, and heaven is about to prove that what left your life was never loss. It was preparation for a love that heaven itself designed. Saint Gabriel, Archangel, closes this message with peace. The time of crying is over. The time of fulfillment begins. Heaven has not forgotten you. The promise is near, and the love that is coming will not hurt. It will heal.